Today we're going to take on the pre-event funding form for YFS Ratified Clubs. You should fill out a pre-event funding form if you are applying for funding before the event has happened. It can be found at www.yfsclubs.ca. Under the Funding tab, under Pre-Event Funding Application. You are eligible to receive 40% of the approved funding up front, or 100% if the funding up front you require for your event is less than $200. The remaining 60%, if you are applying for over $200, must be applied for in a post-event funding form, also found on the YFS Clubs website. The Clubs Committee meetings are once a month and are the only time that club funding can be approved. You will receive a notice when your application has been approved by the committee. Please note that event funding is never 100% guaranteed for clubs, as it depends on how many clubs apply for funding each time, as well as the amount of money that the YFS Clubs Committee has to work with. Now, let's get to the form itself. We'll start by entering your full name on account of you being a club executive. Please note that only club executives can apply for club funding. Next, enter your club name with no acronyms. Enter your phone number, email, the name of your event, and the date and time of your event. Next, describe how the event will go. Be as detailed as possible when you are filling out this portion, as it helps the YFS Clubs Committee to assess the event later. What is the expected participation? How many people from York do you expect to attend? What is the location of your event? Now on to the financial aspect of the event. Enter any revenue you expect to gain from the event, for example, through ticket sales, through meal sales, through sponsorship, or any other source of funding. If there will be no revenue anticipated from your event, write none in this field. Next, outline the expenses of your event. This is the reason that you are going through this application. What are the costs incurred while planning and putting on the event that you're applying for? The balance difference is the amount of expenses that your club incurred in excess of the amount of revenue that your club received for the event, to a maximum of $800. Essentially, expenses minus revenue equals balance difference. In order to receive any funding, you must submit accurate and itemized scanned receipts following the event. Please organize and scan all relevant event receipts into a single document and upload it directly onto the post-event funding application after your event takes place. Finally, you must agree to the club application declaration, stating that by submitting this online form, I agree that I have read the YFS Club funding policy. I have given complete and true information on this form. I understand that as a YFS recognized club, if the information on this application is found to be untrue or intentionally misrepresented, the club may be asked to repay the funds or can be put on probation. Be sure to familiarize yourself with our club funding policy as you are filling out all applications. It can be found under Club Info and Club Resources on the yfsclubs.ca website. Follow our policies as closely as possible, and you should have no problems qualifying to have your funding approved. This is a reminder that the maximum that YFS can fund per event is $800, but this amount is not always guaranteed. After submitting the form, you should receive a message that says your submission has been received. In addition, you will receive an automatic confirmation email to the email that you listed in your form. Please make sure to disable all security protections on your computer when submitting the form. You will receive a notification of approval after the club's committee meeting that happens after you submit your application. In order to access this guaranteed funding, you must fill out the form in its entirety. Feel free to check out our other videos on post-event funding and base funding for clubs. If you have any questions, contact your Vice President Operations at vpoperations@yfs.ca or your Clubs and Outreach Coordinator at clubs@yfs.ca. Be sure to follow us on social media so that you can be kept up to date on what your students' union is up to.